hello, hello. Welcome to CSI. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Creator's Source of Inspiration. So we have a very special guest for you today. It's Kim Bassett. And we are going to explore a little bit about inspiration on podcasting. But at first, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Colleen, who'll be with us. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put in the comments and she will reply to you. And welcome our guest, Kim. Kim, how are you?
Hi, Ca'ryna. I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, we'd love to have you here. And the first question I ask every guest is, what is inspiration to you?
Hmm. I love the question, and I've been thinking about that actually, because my life's been going through like a lot of changes recently. Been having a lot of like changes in perspective. Um, but I really think inspiration is kind of like a cycle. It's like a cycle of getting in tune, I think, with what spirit wants for me in this moment, and like it's a constant like coming back to just like getting in tune and thinking about that. Sometimes you go off track and you get away from it for a little while. um and I think that, when things get stale and tired, then you need a little inspiration, and you have to kind of like get in the right space to receive that, I think. So yeah, I think it's a cycle that we come in and out of, and we need to renew our energy to get into that cycle again and like refresh our perspective to call in that inspiration. I think it's like a gift from source.
Well, and I believe it is a gift from source for sure. And the truth of it is, if we were always being downloaded with only inspiration, we'd be burnt out. There
Hmm.
would be too much fire all the time. So cycles help us become inspired, and then we get to implement that inspiration.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, the path is not always so smooth and kumbaya-ish. Stuff happens.
Hmm.
But what do we do with that? And when we lose that inspiration, how do we get back to it?
Hmm. Yep.
That's and there's a couple of beautiful little ways to do that. And simply by writing three things down every morning about what you're grateful for.
Hmm.
And coming back to that, especially when you're feeling really off kilter. And in order to do that, what happens? You first have to be quiet and calm and start to be connected.
Hmm.
So it all kind of folds together.
Hmm.
And yes, thank goodness there are cycles
Yeah,
because we can't be fire all the time.
for sure. Yeah, and I think like there's always like sometimes you need like a deep period of rest where like you can't handle the inspiration for a while. That's like kind of like going like through a dark night of the soul like I've been through, and you just you don't feel inspired at all, and you have to, you know, kind of like decide to open up to that again. And that comes a little more naturally when you do get quiet, which also does come naturally when you're kind of getting into the dark night of the soul. So then again, it's like a natural cycle.
It is a natural cycle. It's just that a lot of people have become very disconnected from it. But
For
when you
sure.
can relax and surrender to it, it opens up a lot more rapidly for you and more frequently. And just like anything else, it is cultivating a skill set at the same time.
Yep.
Because with the hustle and bustle of the days and everything that we're going to hit with and everything social, it's like there's so much noise.
Mm-hmm.
And in this noise, it's like, how do we turn around and start to quiet it? And who are we? What are we doing? Oh my goodness. And stop going on automatic like robots half the
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So I have another question for you.
All right.
What inspirational story would you love to share with our audience? Because as we share these stories, there is always somebody out there that helps uplift them. And they might not have seen something that way, or they could have taken something in their life for granted. And then when they hear somebody else speak about it, it's like, I went through that. Oh, wow, look at that. And it uplifts them.
Mm.
So, Kim, what would you like to share with us?
Oh, well, I get a lot of inspirations all the time, and now it's kind of like now that I've come into a practice of like what I know I need in my life, it comes a lot easier and way more often. So like I can get inspired daily or even like hourly if I really tune in. So I recently started, well, I realized that I need a little more like consistent consciousness in my life. So I'm trying to incorporate segment intending every day and for every segment. So I am trying to like right when I wake up, I say to myself, like, what do I want to do? What do I want this day to be like? And then as I go into the day, as I like leave for work, I say, okay, how do I want this drive to go? I want to get to work safely. So that's my intention. And so that's a practice that has helped me a lot. It's definitely something I've learned from other people. Um, what's my inspiration story though? That's that's just something I know I wanted to touch on. Um, I've been inspired. What was
Ask you
that?
this, okay? You
Like,
now have a brand new podcast that
yeah.
you decided to create to be you.
Yes,
And
that's right.
so there's inspiration that fueled this to begin with. So why don't you
Absolutely.
share that?
Sure. Yeah, I was inspired. Probably about like a year and a half ago, I started finding a bunch of different podcasts online on YouTube. They're like these really fancy video podcasts, and I was just drawn right in to like all these like really deep conversations, and I would learn so much. And it's kind of like what you said, like when you hear somebody's story, you're like, wow, they've been through that, and I've been through something like that too. I can relate, or like, that's really impressive. That's really inspiring to me. So seeing people doing podcasts like that, they were just like such a beautiful set and um like really informative conversations and guests. And I was like, I want to share something like that with people and like share my view of it
Mhm.
because I know it will be different and unique to me. And I would put my own unique spin on it. And I know that it would open up for, even just like for myself, like, and I love to do like good things for myself. Like that's part of it, right? Like I want to open up my world and I want to explore other people and I want to explore the way they live and the way they do things in their lives and also share that with others. So that's kind of what inspired me to do that.
You want to take the plunge, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I really love community and supporting community. So that's been like my major goal with my own project.
And so once you became inspired,
Mm.
you now go into action, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the first thing that you started to outline for yourself? Because there are plenty of people out there that are considering their own podcast, and is there
Mm.
something that I can do is usually one of the first questions. And
Yeah.
another question is, do I have anything of real value to offer out there?
Yeah, it's definitely valid question. Um, so from my experience, I I had a little bit of experience being online and like doing like streaming on Twitch. So I had kind of like a setup for myself, and I love decorating, so I knew I could set up like a space. Like I have this little, like you've seen it, you've been here. I have this little corner where I was like, oh, I have these cute little chairs and this like set that I've built up now over time. It's gotten like more and more filled up like every other interview that I've done. Um so I love setting up a space and setting a vibe. So I was like, okay, I have like the video equipment. I know I can do a video podcast. I just have to figure out like how to distribute it, how like who's gonna even watch it. So I kind of like I took it step by step and I went with what I knew I could do, like just to get it started. So I
And
was like,
isn't that the most important thing is to
absolutely,
take
because you
action to get it started? It's not about
yes.
perfection.
Yeah,
It's about
exactly. And that's
getting it
something I
started.
always say is that we're always a work in process. Like you're never gonna have like a perfect finished product because we're eternal and we're infinite and we go on forever. We keep learning, we keep growing. So everything's always gonna be growing, learning, changing, evolving. And I I really try to like portray that message all the time to everyone because that will hold people back and keep people stagnant because they'll be afraid, oh, I have to like make this perfect or I can't show it to anyone. Like it's not going to be perfect, especially when you're just starting. You
Yeah,
just got
when
to
you're
get
really
started.
first starting. Exactly. So you've had, in the process of creating this podcast, you've had such amazing uplift times and joy doing it.
Oh
But
yeah,
aren't there also parts where things aren't going right and, oh crap, what am I doing? And and
for sure.
things aren't running smoothly, but then they start to straighten out again. And you
Hmm.
get a different focus or a different perspective or a different way to approach it, which allows you to become more relaxed about it
Yep.
and more accepting of it, which you become more accepting of yourself as you go through this process. Would you not say
Hmm.
that?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So even though that, there's always going to be rough spots, right? When you're learning something new, think about when you were learning how to ride a bicycle
Hmm.
and there were training wheels. There were
Hmm.
training wheels on there for a reason. And it took a while to even be able to work with the training wheels before they even came off. And even when they did come off, you're still very wobbly on the bike until you're
Hmm.
not.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like I just had a memory of going through that process when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because I
Yep.
started on a bicycle that wasn't for a small kid. I was on a 24-inch.
Mm.
So all the way around, I took a little bigger to start.
Wow.
And that's okay when you take on a project that is bigger than what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah. And this definitely was bigger than what I thought it was gonna be, for sure.
It usually turns out that way, doesn't it?
Yep.
And when we look back, we'll say, oh my God, if I knew it took that much, I never would have started. So we
Mhm.
want to encourage you, all of you out there, whatever your project, your inspiration may be, we definitely encourage you to step forward into it.
Mhm.
And imperfection is what ends up being perfect. Getting it done is the new
Yeah.
perfection.
Yeah.
So ease up on yourself.
Mhm.
If you have an inspiration, it's there for a reason. It was given to you from the divine, and it's something to come out, which means you're capable of doing it. So we love people being creative. This world needs more creative energy. We are creative beings. So, with that, I had the privilege of being one of Kim's first interviewees.
You did.
And not everything went well for my end, but that's okay. And so, what it ended up being was an interview on my book, Let's Be Clear. And this is the book right here. And so, this particular episode is going to be aired next Monday. Now, Kim, do you want to tell the people about the day that you broadcast on the release of the interviews and the time frame and
Mhm.
what to expect?
Yeah, so I've made some decisions as to like how I'm going to go forward. So I'm gonna be, oh, this is Timmy, by the way. Timmy's here. He'll
I
take care of
was
me.
noticing his
A
tail.
little.
He's just sticking his butt on. So yeah, so I decided that I'm going to break this up into 2 seasons per year. So I'm gonna be doing like 2 months straight in the summer, and then I'll do another 2 months for a winter season. So this season is gonna round out around end of August, maybe early September. And this time around, I'm releasing episodes on Mondays at 1 p.m. So every
There we
Monday.
go, folks, on Mondays at 1 p.m.
Mhm.
And we will be giving you the link so you can tune in.
Yeah. And that's always on YouTube. I am also putting episodes up on Rumble, but that's kind of like a more irregular schedule. It's kind of just like whenever I get to it. So YouTube is my regular every Monday at 1 p.m.
And please subscribe when you go to her channel as well as this channel. It helps so we can get more information out for you. And also, the question is, what would you like to hear? What would you like to know more about? Because we would love to be able to offer that to you. And since we're only on this side of the screen and you're on that side of the screen, and the way that we can communicate is honestly through the comments or the emails that we give you. So please do engage because we are really willing and wanting to bring information that is important to you. And we definitely want to inspire you. And as you get inspired, you uplift other people because your energy and your vibration, as you know, as I always say, you're raising your vibration at that point. And so you're aligning more to that beautiful inspiration that you were given in order to start to actualize the dream or the goal that you've just been inspired to do. And it is divine inspiration.
Mhm.
Colleen, is there something that you would like to add?
Oh, I've just really been enjoying listening to this whole conversation about being inspired and how you guys find inspiration has inspired me. I love how you mentioned the segment, sorry,
Segment intending?
segment intending. Yes,
Oh.
that was beautiful practice to
Mhm.
incorporate into your day. So thank you
Super
for
helpful.
bringing light to that.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's especially you were letting people know it was setting the intention on the segment of that day. So it's not just about, okay, I'm going to do this part of the day. It was incorporating more of your being,
Mhm.
setting the intention for it. You want the universe to hear you.
Yes.
Well, the universe will provide when you get clear and set that intention and that focus.
Mhm. So important.
So we do have this beautiful, wonderful To Be You podcast coming up on Monday at 1. Please tune in. You want to know more about the book. It's Let's Be Clear to connect to yourself, to spirit, and to your dreams. And we do go through it. And Kim asked me very pointed questions. And so hopefully they will give you a great overview to help you of any type of questions you might have had relating to your own goals and dreams.
Mm.
We're here to help. We're here to be an inspiration. And please stay connected to us, as we will love to stay connected to you. Kim, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ca'ryna. And I just wanted to say that what I learned from you interviewing you was very helpful to me as well. So I'm really excited to share that with everyone.
Yeah, we do learn from each other every single time.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. It
Mhm.
really is. So I can't wait. Folks, I haven't even seen the recording of the interview yet. Okay. So I'm looking forward to being there on Monday at 1. Please, we'll put more things up in the chat. We will also put this in the replay on my YouTube channel and on Kim's. And we will put all the links there for you. And we can't wait to see you and hear from you. Until we do, have the most blessed day and God bless.